Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today we'll do some reading for Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Saturday special, we'll call it. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Deta Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Deta Jaya
Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta
Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll do some reading. Here we have, in person, we have myself, Parampara Das, Govinda Das, and Damayanti Devi Dasi, Bhakti Devin online, and Lakshmi Priya, Kim, Garuda, and George and Danielle. So we're going to read. This is Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, Volume 1, in this edition, Volume 1. And we're going to read Chapter 3.
Chapter 3, okay.
We'll start with Chapter 3, which is Lord Chaitanya at the house of Advaita Acharya.
Far enough in this chapter, it becomes the fruit fight.
I get the fruit fight. So
There's lots in this chapter.
I was thinking maybe we'll just read the Bengali and the English and we'll just have like stories. And if there's a certain purport you think would be good to read, you can.
According to inspiration.
So we'll just read and you might chime in or ask questions or make comment. Let's go right into it. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Puchani Nivashi Srinivani Prasad Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedanta Shri Vishnu Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Naya Samvidayo Pranayo Tagoro. Not the same meter, is it? Next one.
That's like a Bhagavatam leader.
Naya Samvidayo Pranayo Tagoro. Vrindanam Gantrumana Brahmadya. Radhe Brahman Santipurim Adipa. Lasam Bhaktirya Tamnatosmi. After accepting the sannyas order of life, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of intense love for Krishna, wanted to go to Vrindavan, but apparently by mistake, he wandered in the Radha Desh. Later, he arrived at Shantipur and enjoyed himself there with his devotees. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivas. Chabisa Vatsara Sesa Ye Maga Masa Tara Sukla Pakshe Prabhu Karila Sanyassa. At the end of his 24th year, in the month of Magha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order during the waxing period of the moon. Sanyassa Caritamrta Chalila Vrindavan Radha Desha Tina Dina Karila Brahmana. We're on text 4 anyway. Anasuya is joined. This is Caitanya Caritamrta Madhya Lila, Volume 1 in this edition, Chapter 3. We're on text 4 right now. After accepting the sannyas order, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, out of intense love for Krishna, started for Vrindavan. However, he mistakenly wandered about in a trance continuously for 3 days in the tract of land known as Radhadesh. Shlokapadi Prabhu Bhavera Avese Brahmite Pavitra Kaila Sabarada Deshe. Passing through the tract of land known as Radhadesh, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu recited the following verse in ecstasy. This is from Bhagavatam, so it's different.
Tam sastaya paratmanishtam ajasitam purvatamer mahadvi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundam vinishevayeva.
As a Brahmana from Avanti Desha said, I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous acharyas who were in firm devotion to the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So this is the sannyas verse. Prabhupada would give sannyas initiation. Hare Krishna. Vaishnava saying Hare Krishna. This is the sannyas verse. It's from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know the 11th canto as well, but it's spoken by, it's told by Krishna to Uddhava, part of the Uddhava Gita. And it's many chapters in the 11th canto. And very, just like Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's instructions to teachings to Arjuna. The Uddhava Gita is in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And yes, so this is a chapter in the 11th canto, chapter 23, called it's the story of the Avanti Brahmin. And Krishna is quoting the Avanti Brahmin, where he basically just gets he gets completely fried by material life. And it's not just like things happen to him, he was very mean and nasty and exploiting others, and others exploited him. And he's just okay, that's it. I'm giving myself to Krishna. And so to Mukunda, Mukunda is the name for Krishna, gives giver of liberation. So when Prabhupada would give sannyas initiation, he would, I don't know it so well, but he would quote this verse, Tam sahastaya paratmanishtam. And if I remember correctly, he would ask the sannyasi initiates to chant. I don't know if it was every day for the rest of their life, but this is the sannyas verse. And it's not just about formal sannyas, just like the whole mood of renouncing material life and directing our endeavors to serve Krishna. So just as far as context of this verse, it's from the 11th canto Bhagavatam, spoken by Krishna. So I just wanted to give that context here, because this is Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu had just taken sannyas, and so he's absorbed in this verse. He's absorbed in this verse, and so following in that line, Prabhupada made this sannyas verse for his movement. Hare Krishna.
Lord Chaitanya, is quoting Bhagavatam.
Yes.
It's fun. It's fun.
At how so?
But we're reading Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And then so to think about the Lord himself, God, is quoting scriptures that he's read and memorized, the verse, and it's
that's it. Yeah, I get the irony, and that's it. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Krishna appearing to show, he's Krishna showing, Bhagavad Gita. You have Krishna. Saradaman Priti Yamami Kam Sharanam Raja Am Tam Sarapapibyo Mokshaya Shami Mashucha be my devotee. So then Lord Chaitanya appears, he's Krishna showing, here's how to do it. And one thing that devotees do is they memorize and recite Bhagavatam. So Lord Chaitanya is exemplifying. Hare Krishna.
We're on text 7 now. Extensive purport there. Or, could read it. Very, gets technical about sannyas, taking sannyas.
Yeah.
Prabhu kahe sadhu e bhikshura vachana mukunda sevana vrata kaila nirdarana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved the purport of this verse on account of the determination of the mendicant devotee to engage in the service of Lord Mukunda. He gave his approval of this verse, indicating that it was very good. Paradma nishta matra vesadarana mukunda sevaya haya samsara tarana. The real purpose of accepting sannyas is to dedicate oneself to the service of Mukunda. By serving Mukunda, one can actually be liberated from the bondage of material existence. Seve Sakaila Eve Vrindavana Giya Krishna Nishevana Karini Brite Vasiya. After accepting the sannyas order, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to go to Vrindavan and engage himself wholly and solely in the service of Mukunda in a solitary place. Eta Bali Chale Prabhu Premon Madera China Dik Vidik Jnana Nahi Kibaratri Dina. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was en route to Vrindavan, all the ecstatic symptoms became manifest, and he did not know in which direction he was going, nor did he know whether it was day or night. Nityananda Acharya Mukunda Tina Jana Prabhu Pache Pache Tine Karena Gamana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went toward Vrindavan, Nityananda Prabhu, Chandrasekhar, and Prabhu Mukunda followed him. Ye Prabhu deke se loka Prema vaise hari bale kande dukkha shoka. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through the Radha Desh, whoever saw him in ecstasy exclaimed, Hari, Hari. As they chanted this with the Lord, all the unhappiness of material existence diminished. Gopa balaka sava prabhuke dekiya Hari Hari Bali Dake Uchad Kariya. All the cowherd boys who saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passing joined with him and began to shout loudly, Hari Hari. Sunita Sabara Nikata Gela Gora Hari Bala 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 Sabara Hastadari. When he heard all the cowherd boys also chanting Hari Hari, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. He approached them, put his hand on their heads and said, go on chanting like that. Tasabara Sutikare Tomara Bhagyavan Kritartha Karile More Sunana Harinama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus blessed them all, saying that they were all fortunate. In this way, he praised them, and he felt very successful because they chanted the holy name of Lord Hari. I also like that there's cowherd boys.
Yes.
There's cowherd boys, and like Chaitanya's with the cowherd boys, Krishna himself with the cowherd boys, pleasing exchanges, loving exchanges. Gupte ta sabake ani takura nichananda sikaila sabakare kariya prabanda. Calling all the boys in confidence and telling a reasonable story, Nityananda Prabhu instructed them as follows. Nityananda Prabhu is up to something.
Telling a reasonable story. That's classic Lord Nityananda.
So the satsang is the truth. He said a reasonable story.
Reasonable story.
Vrindavana Pata Prabhu Puchena Tamara Ganga Tire Pata Tave Jekaha Tanre. If Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks you about the path to Vrindavan, please show him the path on the bank of the Ganges instead. This is some trickery, some mischief here.
Yes.
Have Prabhu Puchilena Sunasi Sugana Kahate ki konpate Yaba Vrindavana Shishu Saba Ganga Tira Pata de Kaila Se Pate Avesha Prabhu Gamana Karila. When the cowherd boys were questioned by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the path to Vrindavan, the boys showed him the path on the bank of the Ganges, and the Lord went that way in ecstasy. Acharya Ratnere Kahe Nityananda Goswami Sigra Yahatumi Advaita Charya Kani. As the Lord proceeded along the bank of the Ganges, Sri Nityananda Prabhu requested Acharya Ratna Chandrasekhar Acharya to go immediately to the house of Advaita Acharya. Prabhu laye yaba amitan haramindire sabadana rahina yena naukalana tire. Sri Nityananda Goswami told him, I shall take Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the bank of the Ganges at Shantipur, and Advaita Acharya should carefully stay there on shore with a boat. Tave nadvad vipe tumi kariye gamana sachi sahalana aisha sava bhakta gana. After that, Nityananda Prabhu continued, I shall go to Advaita Acharya's house, and you should go to Navadvip and return with Mother Sachi and all the other devotees. Mother Sachi's Lord Chaitanya's mother.
Yeah.
And other devotees. Tanre Pataya Nityananda Mahasaya Mahaprabhura Age Asidila Parichaya. After sending Acharya Ratna to the house of Advaita Acharya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu went before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gave notice of his coming. Prabhu kahe Sripada Tumara Kotake Gamana Sripada kahe Tumara Sange Yaba Vrindavana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy, and he asked where Nityananda Prabhu was going. Nityananda replied that he was going with him toward Vrindavan. This is good.
Yeah.
Prabhu kahe kata dore ache Vrindavana tenhot kahe na kare yamuna darashana. When the Lord asked Nityananda Prabhu how far it was to Vrindavan, Nityananda replied, just see, here is the river Yamuna. Eta bali anila tanre ganga sanidane ave se prabhura haila gangara yamuna jnane. Saying this, Nityananda Prabhu took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu near the Ganges, and the Lord, in his ecstasy, accepted the river Ganges as the river Yamuna. So is that part considered like the Yamuna River because Lord Chaitanya accepted it as? So I've heard something like that part of the Ganges is considered.
Part of the Ganges is considered of course, they're both holy rivers. So the misleading part is he's thinking that that Ganges was restricted for Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So that was clearly misleading.
Yes.
At the same time, sometimes even like Ganges and Yamuna are used practically synonymously in places. places in the Bhagavatam. And so, yeah, I don't know all the geography, but they kind of flow together and are one in some parts.
So that's maybe part of Nityananda Prabhu's reasonable story. It says, so, well,
Or maybe I might imagine he told the coward boys that this sannyasi, he has some mental thing going on. So we need to help him. And stuff like that.
okay. Aho Bhagya Yamunare Pailundara Shana Eta Bali Yamunara Karena Savana. The Lord said, oh, what good fortune. Now I have seen the river Yamuna. Thus, thinking the Ganges to be the river Yamuna, Caitanya Mahaprabhu began to offer prayers to it.
Chidananda Bano
Sadananda
Suno
Parampara Patri Drava Brahma Gatri Gadanam Lavitri Jagat Shema Gatri Mitra Kriyana Labor Mitra Putri. O River Yamuna, you are the blissful spiritual water that gives love to the son of Nanda Maharaj. You are the same as the water of the spiritual world, for you can vanquish all our offenses and the sinful reactions incurred in life. You are the creator of all auspicious things for the world. O daughter of the sun god, kindly purify us by your pious activities. Ita Bali Namaskari Kaila Ganga Snana Eka Kapina Nahi Dvitiya Paridana. After reciting this mantra, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu offered obeisances and took his bath in the Ganges. At that time, he had only one piece of underwear, for there was no second garment. Ena Kale Acharya Goswami Nakate Kadina Ala Nutana Kapina Bahir Vasalana. While Caitanya Mahaprabhu was standing there without a second garment, Sri Advaita Acharya arrived on a boat, bringing with him new underwear and external garments. Age Acharya Asirahila Namaskara Kari Acharya Deki Bale Prabhu Mane Samsaya Kari. When Advaita Acharya arrived, he stood before the Lord and offered his obeisances. After seeing him, the Lord began to wonder about the entire situation.
He's beginning to raise some awareness that comes up here.
Tumita Acharya Goswami Eta Kena Aila Ami Vrindavane Tumike Mate Janila. Still in his ecstasy, the Lord began asking Advaita Acharya, why did you come here? How did you know that I was in Vrindavan? This is suspicious now.
Yeah, that's great. Create some humor in these pastimes.
Acharya kahe tumi yahan se Vrindavana Mora bhagye ganga tire tomara agamana. Advaita Acharya disclosed the whole situation, telling Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Now it is my great fortune that you have come to the bank of the Ganges. Classic line.
Yes.
Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan.
Yes.
Which is also true.
Also true. Yes.
So it's like, they're not, they're using transcendental trickery. Right?
Yeah.
It is true.
Using philosophy to support the truth.
Prabhu kahe Nityananda amare banchila Ganga ke aniya more Yamuna kahila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, Nityananda has cheated me. He has brought me to the bank of the Ganges and told me that it was the Yamuna. Acharya kahe mitya nahe Sripada Vachana Yamunata Svanatumi Karila Ekana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accused Nityananda of cheating him, Sri Advaita Acharya said, whatever Nityananda Prabhu has told you is not false. You have indeed just now taken your bath in the river Yamuna. Gangaya Yamuna Vahe Hana Ekadara Paschime Yamuna Vahe Purve Gangadara. Advaita Acharya then explained that at that spot, both the Ganges and Yamuna flowed together. On the western side was the Yamuna, and on the eastern side was the Ganges. I'll read this purport. The Ganges, the purport by Sri Prabhupada. The Ganges and Yamuna mix at the confluence of Allahabad, Prayag. The Yamuna flows from the western side and the Ganges from the eastern, and they merge. Since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed on the western side, he actually took his bath in the river Yamuna. So they're not lying to the Lord. Paschime Dara Yamuna Vahe Tavankara Snana Arga Kapina Chadi Shuskakara Paradana. Advaita Acharya then suggested that since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken his bath in the river Yamuna and his underwear was now wet, the Lord should change his underwear for dry garments. Rema Vesetina Dina Acha Upavasa Aji Moragara Diksha Kala Mora Masa. Advaita Acharya said, you have been fasting continuously for 3 days in your ecstasy of love for Krishna. I therefore invite you to my home where you may kindly take your alms. Come with me to my residence. Eka Mustiana Muni Kariya Chori Paka Sukha Ruka Vyanjana Kalun Supa Arasaka. Advaita Acharya continued, at my home I have just cooked 1 palm full of rice. The vegetables are always very simple, and there is no luxurious cooking, simply a little liquid vegetable and spinach. I don't think this is not 100% true either. Because Lord Chaitanya is very austere, so he doesn't want to like promise opulent prasada.
Exactly, that is an amazing feast. I'm a sannyasi. So,
Yeah, he just cooked 1 palm full of rice. That's all he had.
right, yeah, and some spinach. Right, and as we'll see, that's not the complete truth.
Not the complete truth. Okay. Ekta Bali Nakaya Chadana Nila Nichagara Pada Prakshalana Kaila Ananda Antara. Saying this, Sri Advaita Acharya took the Lord into the boat and brought the Lord to his residence. There, Advaita Acharya washed the feet of the Lord and was consequently very happy within. Pratame Paka Karyachena Acharyani Vishnu Samaparna Vana Kaila Acharya Apani. All the eatables were first cooked by the wife of Advaita Acharya. Then Srila Advaita Acharya personally offered everything to Lord Vishnu. Read this purport. Purport.
It's a very grihasta purport.
It's a grihasta. Yeah, grihastas here. So we don't have any sannyasis here, so we might as well talk about it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is the ideal householder's life. The husband and wife live together, and the husband works very hard to secure paraphernalia for worshiping Lord Vishnu. The wife at home cooks a variety of foodstuffs for Lord Vishnu, and the husband offers it to the deity. After that, arati is performed, and the prasada is distributed amongst family members and guests. According to the Vedic principles, there must always be a guest in the householder's house. I have a guest now, so I'm fulfilling that. In my childhood, I have actually seen my father receive not less than 4 guests every day. In those days, my father's income was not very great. So he's been just just inviting guests in for prasadam and kirtan, perhaps.
Yeah.
Travelers.
Or even reading Caitanya Caritamrta, described it. Prabhupada's father read Caitanya Caritamrta. And people are just sadhus passing by. Some of them might be true sadhus, some of them not.
Yeah.
But it did not just, very hospitable.
Nonetheless, there was no difficulty in offering prasad to at least 4 guests every day. According to Vedic principles, a householder, before taking lunch, should go outside and shout very loudly to see if there is anyone without food. In this way, he invites people to take prasad. If someone comes, the householder offers him prasad, and if there is not much left, he should offer his own portion to the guest. If no one responds to his call, the householder can accept his own lunch. Thus, the householder's life is also a kind of austerity. Because of this, the householder's life is called the Grihastha Ashram. Although a person may live with his wife and children happily in Krishna consciousness, he also observes the regulative principles followed in any temple. If there is no Krishna consciousness, the householder's abode is called a Grihamedi's house. Householders in Krishna consciousness are actually Grihasthas. That is, those living in the ashram with their families and children. Sri Advaita Prabhu was an ideal Grihastha, and his house was the ideal Grihastha ashram. Tina Tani Boga Badaila Samakari Krishnera Boga Badaila Datu Pacho Pari. All the prepared foods were divided onto 3 equal parts. One part was arranged on a metal plate for offering to Lord Krishna. Bhatisa Atiya Kalara Angatiya Pate Duitani Boga Baidala Bala Mate. Of the 3 divisions, one was arranged on a metal plate, and the other 2 were arranged on plantain leaves. These leaves were not bifurcated, and they were taken from a banana tree that held at least 32 bunches of bananas. The 2 plates were filled very nicely with the kinds of food described below. Okay, this is extensive descriptions of prasadam here.
It's one of the many in Caitanya Caritamrta.
Yeah.
This is a classic for sure.
I'm gonna look ahead to see, because there was I'm looking ahead to see where is it the part where is there where his mother? Yeah, this is mother. I actually wanted to go like this. Prasadam is very excellent, and this is a food fight scene and everything like that. It's very great. At the same time, I wanted to get to where he sees his mother. So
What verse?
I'm looking now to see what's a good transition to that.
Well, okay, verse 140. Okay. I would say verse 136. Go to verse 136. That's what you're looking for.
136. That's when Sachimata comes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. We're gonna skip. So yeah, this is just to say, because we just mentioned how Sri Advaita Acharya was inviting Lord Chaitanya to come. Just some rice and some spinach, and there's just pages and pages of descriptions of the opulent prasadam that he actually had.
Yes.
And then there's a transcendental food fight, and we read that on Advaita Acharya's day, or we have previously on Advaita Acharya's appearance day.
Yes.
That past time. So for today, we're going to skip ahead to text 136, still in chapter 3. Emata dasadina bojana kirtana eka rupa kare kare prabhura sevana For 10 continuous days, Advaita Acharya held feasting and chanting in the evening. He served the Lord in this way without any change. 10 continuous days, feasting and chanting. That's ideal grihastha life.
Yes.
Right?
Singing, dancing, feasting.
It's inspiring to me with thinking like making a retreat, like a grihastha retreat. Like, oh, instead of taking a vacation, just
Yeah.
let's just schedule 10 days. We're just gonna stay home and just chant and feast. That sounds like a good.
The perfection of the ashram.
Prabhate Acharya Ratna Dolaya Chaitana Bhakta Gana Sange Aila Sachimata Lana. In the morning, Chandrasekhar brought Sachimata from her house with many devotees, and he seated her in a palanquin. Nadia Naga Rera Loka Street Balaka Prita Sabaloka Aila Sangata Samrida. In this way, all the people of the town of Nadia, including all women, boys, and old men, came there. Thus, the crowd increased. This is the birthplace, Nadia, is like hometown.
Yes.
Lord Chaitanya's
That's his
hometown.
hometown. He's known
But
as
did they come to, they're the devotees. The people of the town, Nadia, are the devotees who came from Navadvip to where, to Shriadikacharya's?
Yeah, they came from Nadia to Shanti.
Okay.
And it's not too far away. Yes, and Nadia is another name for Navadvip, essentially.
Oh.
You maybe know the movie Nimai of Nadia, right? And part 1, part 2 is Nilachala Mahaprabhu.
Nila.
Nilachala is a name for Jagannath Puri, because we had Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Their original names when they were worshipped by the pig farmer was Nila Madhava. So that's the connection. Yeah, quite the story there. But the original name of those deities was Nila Madhava. And then there was a whole story how Nila Madhava manifested as Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. And the Nila Madhava deities were originally worshipped by a pig farmer. I forget his name. And that's the story of King Indrajitya.
For another time.
Yes.
Okay.
So everyone from Navadvip is coming to Shantipur.
To Advaita Acharya's house.
Yeah.
Basically, he must have, hopefully has a big house or a big courtyard or
I
something.
think he does. Yeah.
Rata Kritya Kari Kare Namasan Kirtana Sachimata Lana Aila Advaita Bhavana. In the morning, after regular duties were completed and the Lord was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the people accompanied Sachimata to the house of Advaita Acharya. As Molly mentioned the class recently, just like, yeah, the specialness of the like Lord Chaitanya's Leela, so Gaura Leela, these pastimes, Lord Chaitanya, that we can participate in it. Like he's chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah.
He's doing his, regular duties, and so it's reading, chanting Bhagavatam verses and things like that. So like we're totally capable of engaging in the same activities as the Lord Himself, Lord Chaitanya. Sachi age padile Prabhu Dandavan Kandite lagila Sachi kole utaina. As soon as Mother Sachi appeared on the scene, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell before her like a stick. Mother Sachi began to cry, taking the Lord on her lap. Donhara darshane dune haila vivala kesha nadakiye Sachi haila vikala. Upon seeing one another, they both became overwhelmed. Seeing the Lord's head without hair, Mother Sachi became greatly agitated. So we worship on the altar, we worship the picture, we worship the form of Lord Chaitanya with long hair.
Before sannyas. Yeah.
Before sannyas, and so his mother is seeing him for the first time being shaved up, and she's very troubled. She's distraught. And Prabhupada said one time that we don't, maybe in a similar way perhaps, that we don't worship Lord Chaitanya, at least on the altar, as a sannyasi, like with a shaved head, because for a devotee it's too painful to see that. Like for a pure devotee, it's like too painful to see like Lord Chaitanya has taken sannyas, he's undergone so much trouble, like they don't want to, like I think a similar mood to his mother here, like why are you going through this trouble? I just yeah. Anga muche mukha kumbhe kare nirikshana dekite napaya ashubharila nayana. She began to smear the body of the Lord with kisses. Sometimes she kissed his face and tried to observe him carefully, but because her eyes were filled with tears, she could not see. Kandiya kahena sachi bachare nimani Vishvarupa samana kariha nitarai. Understanding that Lord Chaitanya had accepted the renounced order of life, Sachimata, crying, said to the Lord, "My darling Nimai, do not be cruel like Vishvarupa, your elder brother." Sanyasi haiya punana dila darashana tumi taiche kale mora habi morana. Mother Sachi continued, after accepting the renounced order, Vishvarupa never again gave me audience. If you do like him, that will certainly be the death of me. Kandiya Malena Prabhu Sunamora Ai Tomara Sarira Ai Mora Kichunai. The Lord replied, my dear mother, please hear. This body belongs to you. I do not possess anything. Tomara palita deha janma toma haite koti janme tomara rina na pari sandite. This body was raised by you and it comes from you. I cannot repay this debt even in millions of births. Jani vana jani kaila yadyapi sanyasa Tatapi tomare kabu nahiba udasha. Knowingly or unknowingly, I have accepted this renounced order. Still, I shall never be indifferent to you. Tumi yahan kaha ami tahani grahiva. Tumi ye agya seta kariba. My dear mother, wherever you ask me to stay, I shall stay, and whatever you order, I shall execute. Eta bali puna puna kare namaskara, tustahana aikole kare bara bara. Saying this, the Lord offered obeisances to his mother again and again, and Mother Sachi, being pleased, took him again and again on her lap. Tabe ailana charya gela abhyantara bhaktagane milite prabhu haila sadvara. Then Advaita Acharya took Mother Sachi within the house. The Lord was immediately ready to meet all the devotees. So this, I was thinking of this pastime because Lord Chaitanya says, this body belongs to you. I do not possess anything. And I brought that up with our kids because like his hair, I think he would sometime, maybe somewhere, I guess maybe not here, but somewhere it said like the hair is like, so the body belongs to the mother, Lord Chaitanya said this. So I was telling my son, like your hair belongs to your mother. So she's in charge of what, getting a haircut or whatever, like she's in charge. Lord Caitanya says that. This body belongs to you.
Yeah.
In that case, though, I know Rohini's on board with the hairstyle that Nalini wants, I'm happy to be aware.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
specific hairstyle he's going for this summer,
Right.
and she's on board.
Yeah,
So we happen to be aligned.
right. Yeah, so in again, this, like Lord Chaitanya is showing, like ideal sannyasi, and it seems like this is not, it's, I'm wondering, like, how much is like ideal sannyasi in terms of his relationship with his mother, because he mentioned like his older brother took sannyas and then never was with his mother or whatever.
Lord Chaitanya here, he's flagrantly crossing boundaries of sannyasi.
Uh-huh.
He is not rigidly following the rules and regulations, right? No, because he's already officially taken sannyas. From a strict rules and regulations point of view, he shouldn't be having this affectionate exchange with his mother. The affection and the no, it's like basically sannyas is socially dead. Sannyas is socially dead. So with Lord Chaitanya, also with Prabhupada, also with Krishna, we went, so like, so sometimes there's that rigorous following. Lord Chaitanya was so strict, he wouldn't even like let women come close enough so that he couldn't see them offer obeisances. Just, he was so strict. Then there's a pastime when he's in Jagannath Puri, where in his ecstasy, because he in his ecstasy to see Lord Jagannath, he just ran into the temple and there was a crowd of people. So he was seeing Lord Jagannath, and then there was a woman devotee who was just so ecstatic to see Lord Jagannath, but she was frustrated because everyone was taller than her and she couldn't see. So she didn't know what she was in transcendental, didn't know what she was doing. So she climbed on the shoulders of Lord Chaitanya. Like a woman's touching him.
Yeah.
She climbed on his shoulders to see Lord Jagannath. So his assistant Govinda got her down. What are you doing? So then Lord Chaitanya chastised the assistant. He said, this lady, she has such devotion. If I could have one drop of her devotion, you have no right to chastise her. Okay, so that was a violation. He let a woman touch her. So this is not according, this whole exchange with Satyamata, this is like his brother Vishwarup, he actually followed it correctly. Took sannyas, no more connection, like that, like socially dead. Okay, so this is not according to the strict rules and regulations. So this not that he's failing to observe the Dharma, but he's showing his transcendence here. He's showing his transcendence to the strict rules and regulations. Sometimes he shows how to follow strictly, and sometimes he shows that flexibility through transcendental love.
Right. This in this case I was imagining it's more of their transcendental relationship.
Yeah.
Lord Chaitanya Sachimata.
Exactly.
Is it like Sachimata is like Mother Yashoda or some?
She's Mother Yashoda. She's Mother Yashoda.
Directly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's more like that.
Yeah. She's
Transcendental relationship, eternal kind of.
That's it, because this body belongs to you. So that's just like intense sun dharma. Right, and it's like intense sun dharma, and the body belongs to the mother. Okay, at the same time, then Lord Chaitanya shows transcendental dharma to serve Krishna, and like that. And so he's saying, like, I'll go wherever you want to go, and then it plays out that he ends up going to Jagannath Puri. So he's showing that intense dharma of the son's relation with the mother.
He goes to Jagannath Puri because it's closer. Then Vrindavan, closer
Yeah.
to his mother than Vrindavan.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get to it, but in the next, maybe 24 verses, that's it. Right, and so the devotees in Navadvip, which is they regularly would make pilgrimage to Jagannath Puri, which is close to Vrindavan, and so she go, look, if you go to Jagannath Puri rather than Vrindavan, I'll hear about you regularly. Of course, on a spiritual mystical platform, Lord Chaitanya from Jagannath Puri was regularly visiting, and sometimes he would even eat the offerings that Satyamata was doing, and she thought, did I forget to cook? There's not. So that's more on the mystical platform. But she said, because every year a lot of devotees from Navadvip make pilgrimage to Jagannath Puri. She said, that way I'll hear news about you, so go there. That's how it played out. That's the part we're coming to.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get to it, but yeah. Hare Krishna.
Deep breathing.
See if there's any questions or
Questions, comments? Anyone? Inspirations? Pearls? Read a little bit more,
Okay,
maybe.
sounds good.
I like just chanting the Bengali.
Yeah, so pure.
Okay, we'll read a few more. Okay. Eke milila Prabhu Sabha Bhakta Gana Sabara Mukha Deke Kare Dirda Alingana. The Lord met all the devotees one after the other, and looking at everyone's face individually, he embraced them tightly. Keshanada Kiya Bhakta Yajapi Payaduka Sandaraya Kekite Tabupaya Mahasukam. Although the devotees were unhappy at not seeing the Lord's hair, they nonetheless derived great happiness from seeing his beauty. Srivasa Ramai Vidyanidhi Kadadara Gangadasa Vakrishvara Murari Shuklambara Purimanta Kanandana Sridhara Vijaya Vasudeva Damodara Mukunda Sanjaya Katanamala Ivayata Navadvipa Vasi Sabare Milila Prabhu Kripa Drishti Hasi. Srivas Ramai Vidyanidhi Gadadhar Gangadasa Vakreshvara Murari Suklambara Buddhimanta Khan Nandana Sridhar Vijaya Vasudev Damodar Mukunda Sanjaya and all the others, however many I can mention. Indeed, all the inhabitants of Navadvip arrived there, and the Lord met them with smiles and glances of mercy. Anande Nachaye Sabe Bali Hari Hari Acharya Mandira Haila Sri Vaikuntha Puri. Everyone was dancing and chanting the holy names of Hari. In this way, the domicile of Advaita Acharya was converted into Sri Vaikuntha Puri. Yata Loka Aila Mahaprabhu Ke Dakita Nana Grama Haite Ara Navadvipa Haite. People came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from various other villages nearby, as well as Navadvip. Savakare Vasadila Bakshas Anapana Bahudina Acharya Gosani Kaila Samadana. To everyone who came to see the Lord from villages nearby, especially from Navadvip, Advaita Acharya gave residential quarters, as well as all kinds of eatables for many days. Indeed, he properly adjusted everything. Acharya Gosha Nira Bandara Aksharya Avyaya Yata Dravya Vaya Kare Tata Dravya Haya. The supplies of Advaita Acharya were inexhaustible and indestructible. As many goods and commodities as he used, just as many again appeared. Sedina Haite Chachi Karina Randana Bhaktagana Lana Prabhu Karena Bojana. From the day Sachimata arrived at the house of Advaita Acharya, she took charge of the cooking. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu dined in the company of all the devotees. Dine Acharyera Priti Prabhura Darshana Ratre Loka Deke Prabhura Nartana Kirtana. All the people who came there during the day saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the friendly behavior of Advaita Acharya. At night, they had the opportunity to see the Lord's dancing and hear his chanting. Kirtana Karite Prabhura Sarva Bhavodaya Stamba Kampa Pula Kashru Gada Gada Pralaya. When the Lord performed kirtan, he manifested all kinds of transcendental symptoms. He appeared stunned and trembling. His hair stood on end and his voice faltered. There were tears and devastation. Sane Sane Pade Prabhu Achara Khana Deke Sachi Mata Kahe Rodana Kariya. Frequently, the Lord would tumble to the ground. Seeing this, Mother Sachi would cry. Kurchurna Haila Hena Vaso Nimani Kalevara Ha Kari Vishnu Pase Mage Aivara. Srimati Sachimata thought that the body of Nimai was being smashed when he fell down, so she cried, alas, and petitioned Lord Vishnu. Balya Kala Haite Tumara Ye Kalun Shivana Tara Aye Kala More Dahanarayana. My dear Lord, kindly bestow this benediction as a result of whatever service I have rendered unto you from my childhood. Ye Kale Nimani Pade Dharani Upare Yata Yena Nahi Lage Nimani Sarire. Whenever Nimai falls to the surface of the earth, please do not let him feel any pain. Ai Mata Sachi Devi Vatsalye Vivala Harshabaya Danya Bhave Ahila Vikala. When Mother Sachi was thus overwhelmed in paternal love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she became transformed with happiness, fear, and humility, as well as bodily symptoms. I'll read this purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. These verses indicate that Mother Sachi, born in the family of Nilambara Chakravarti, used to worship Lord Vishnu even before her marriage, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva sasgati sama suchinam srimatam gehe yoga prashno vichayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Mother Sachi, a Nityasiddha living entity, is an incarnation of Mother Yashoda. She appeared in the house of Nilambara Chakravarti and was everlastingly engaged in the service of Lord Vishnu. Later, she directly had as her child Lord Vishnu, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and she served him from the day of his appearance. This is the position of Nityasiddha associates. Sri Narottam Das Thakur therefore sings, Larangera Sangigane Nityasiddha Karimane. Every devotee should know that all the associates of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, his family members, friends, and other associates were all Nityasiddhas. A Nityasiddha never forgets the service of the Lord. He is always engaged, even from childhood, in worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shri Vasadi Yata Prabhura Vipra Bhakta Gana Prabhu Ke Bhiksha Dite Haila Savakara Mana. Since Advaita Acharya was giving alms and food to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the other devotees, headed by Srivas Thakur, also desired to give him alms and invite him for lunch. Suni Sachi Sabakare Karila Menate Nanira Darashana Aramuni Pavakati. Hearing these proposals made by other devotees of the Lord, Mother Sachi said to the devotees, how many times shall I get the chance to see Nimai again?
See, that's the thing, like, she's saying that, okay, you'll visit Jagannath Puri and you'll get to see him. She at that time, they haven't yet determined Jagannath Puri. But whatever he does, basically, just by him seeing her now, it's already a transgression of the sannyas rules. So she knows, like, I'm not going to get to see him again, wherever he goes. You will. So look, he's here for a few days. Let me do all the cooking. Let me host him every day. Otherwise, it's not fair. That's what she's saying.
Don't get hurt while I'm here either. Don't fall on the ground.
Oh yeah. She doesn't like this. These ecstasies that are causing all sorts of painful reactions.
And then she goes into ecstasy.
Yes.
All right. Toma Saba Sane Have Anyatra Milana Muni Avaginira Matra E Darashana. Sachimata submitted. As far as you are concerned, you can meet Nimai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many times somewhere else. But what is the possibility of my ever meeting him again? I shall have to remain at home. A sannyasi never returns to his home. Yavadacharya Grihe Nimanira Avastana Muni Bhikshati Musabakare Magandana. Mother Sachi appealed to all the devotees to give her this charity. As long as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at the house of Advaita Acharya, only she would supply him food. Suni Bhaktya Gana Kahe Kari Namaskara Mataraya Ichase Samata Sabara. Hearing this appeal from Mother Sachi, all the devotees offered obeisances and said, we all agree to whatever Mother Sachi desires. Matara Vyagrata Deki Prabhura Vyagramana Bhaktagana Ekatra Karibali Lavachana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw his mother's great eagerness, he became a little agitated. He therefore assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them. Toma Sabara Agya Vina Shalilama Vrindavan Yaite Karnarila Vigna Kaila Nivartana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed them all, without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return. Yadyapi sahasa ami kariyachi sanyasa tatapi toma hasaba haite nahima udasa. My dear friends, although I have suddenly accepted this renounced order, I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. Toma Sava Nacha Diva Yayat Ami Jiva Matara Tavat Ami Chadite Nariba. my dear friends, as long as I remain manifest, I shall never give you up, nor shall I be able to give up my mother. Sanyasira dharma nahe sanyasa karina nila janma stane rahe kutumba lana. After accepting sannyas, it is not the duty of a sannyasi to remain at his birthplace encircled by relatives. Kehayena aibali nakare nindana seyukti kaha yata rahe dui dharma. Make some arrangement so that I may not leave you, and at the same time, people may not blame me for remaining with relatives after taking sannyas. Suniya prabhura e madhura vachana sachi pasa acharyadi karila gamana. After hearing Lord Chaitanya's statement, all the devotees headed by Advaitacharya approached Mother Sachi. Prabhurani Vedana Tanre Sakala Kanila Suni Sachi Jaganmata Kahite Lagila. When they submitted to Lord Chaitanya's statement, Mother Sachi, who is the mother of the universe, began to speak. Tinho yadi ihan rahe tabe mora suka tanra ninda hai yadi seha mora duka. Sachimata said, it will be a great happiness for me if Nimai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, stays here, but at the same time, if someone blames him, it will be my great unhappiness. It's a purport.
That's she's balancing it with, transcendental subtlety of intelligence. She understands the dilemma.
Yeah.
The Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, do whatever you want." She understands. She understands that to just keep him there, that won't be auspicious.
Tate yukti bala mora mani laya nila chale rahayadi dui karya haya. Mother Sachi said, this consideration is good. In my opinion, if Nimai remains at Jagannath Puri, he may not leave any one of us, and at the same time, he can remain aloof as a sannyasi. Thus, both purposes are fulfilled. Nila chale navadvipe yena duigara loka gata gati varta pava nirantara. Since Jagannath Puri and Navadvipe are intimately related, as if they were two rooms in the same house, people from Navadvipe generally go to Jagannath Puri, and those in Jagannath Puri go to Navadvipe. This going and coming will help carry news of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, I will be able to get news of him. Tumi Saba Karite Paragamana Gamana Gangas Nane Kabu Habe Tanra Agamana. All you devotees will be able to come and go, and sometimes he may also come to take his bath in the Ganges. Apanara Dukkha Sukha Tahanahi Gani Tanre Kanye Sukha Taha Nija Sukha Mani. I do not care for my personal happiness or unhappiness, but only for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness. Suni Bhaktagane Gana Tanre Karila Stavana Veda Agya Yaiche Mata Tomara Vachana. After hearing Sachi Mata, all the devotees offered her prayers and assured her that her order, like a Vedic injunction, could not be violated. Bhaktagana Prabhu Age Asiya Kahila Suniya Prabhu Ramane Ananda Ha'ila. All the devotees informed Lord Chaitanya of Sachimata's decision. Hearing it, the Lord became very pleased. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any comments, questions? Sharing pearls. Anyone like to?
Thanks for selecting this pastime.
Yeah, it's fun. Thank you all for your participation. And this is a good, let's start purport here. Just read this purport. We'll close with this purport.
Okay.
This is purport to text 190. Close this from Srila Prabhupada. It's a good closing. The cult of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna movement, is very nicely explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu authoritatively. It is not that everyone has to take sannyas like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone can execute the cult of Krishna consciousness at home, as ordered by the Lord. Everyone can congregationally chant the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One can also discuss the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and install deities of Radha Krishna or Gaura Nitai or both and worship them very carefully in one's own home. It is not that we have to open different centers all over the world. Whoever cares for the Krishna consciousness movement can install deities at home and under superior guidance, worship the deity regularly, chanting the Maha Mantra and discussing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We are actually teaching in our classes how to go about this. One who feels that he is not yet ready to live in a temple or undergo strict regulative principles in the temple, especially householders who live with wife and children, can start a center at home by installing the deity, worshiping the Lord morning and evening, chanting Hare Krishna, and discussing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. He said that 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times he mentions Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in short purport. Anyone can do this at home without difficulty, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees present there to do so. Sri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nectar.
Thank you all. Hare Krishna devotees.